The forbidden night beneath the stars. The night was calm on Valeri Prime. The two moons hung low in the sky, casting silver light over the wide crystal fields. Flowers that only bloomed in moonlight opened slowly, glowing soft blue and pink. Captain Raylan sat near the edge of the royal garden, watching the stars. He was a human born on Earth, trained for war. But now, after years of battle, he was part of a peacekeeping team sent to the Valeri Empire. His job was simple: protect the royal family, keep the peace, and stay quiet. But something happened he could not explain. He fell in love with the Queen. Queen Ysera was unlike anyone he had ever met. Her skin shimmered with faint light like starlight wrapped in silk. Her voice was calm but strong. She ruled with wisdom, but she laughed like someone who still believed in dreams. Every night for 3 weeks, after her court meetings ended, she would find him in the garden. They never planned it. They just met. They talked about Earth, about Valeri history, about stars and war and silence. Tonight she sat beside him without speaking for a long time. The wind moved gently. The stars above blinked like curious eyes. "You are quiet tonight," Ysera said. "I don't want this night to end," Raylan answered. She smiled, looking at the moons. "Then don't let it end." He looked at her. Really looked. "Why me?" he asked. "You're a queen. I'm just human." She turned her face toward him, her eyes glowing like soft fire. "Because you see me. Not just my crown. Not just my power. You see me." He hesitated. "And you?" She reached for his hand. "I see the one who makes the stars feel warmer." They didn't speak after that. They didn't need to. Under the moons in the quiet garden with no one watching, they gave their hearts to each other. The world didn't end, but everything changed. The next morning, Raylan woke alone. Her scent was still in the air. The place where she had slept beside him was still warm, but she was gone. He stood confused, searching the garden. No note, no message. Nothing. Panic started to rise. He left the garden and returned to his room, but before he could enter, 3 royal guards appeared. They wore dark armor and did not speak. "Come with us," one of them said. "What happened?" Raylan asked. "Now," the guard said firmly. Raylan followed, heart pounding. They walked in silence through the golden halls of the high tower. Then the door opened. He stepped into the royal council room. A dozen alien nobles stood in a circle. They all turned to him. In the center stood Queen Ysera. Her face was calm, but her eyes were bright with something he had never seen before. Pride. "This human," she said, "is more than a guest, more than a soldier. He is the one I chose." Whispers filled the room. One elder stepped forward, angry. "What have you done, Your Grace?" She looked at them all and raised her voice. "I am carrying his child." The room fell silent. Raylan felt his knees weaken. "What?" Ysera turned to him. "You are going to be a father." He stared at her, trying to breathe. "But you're a queen." "And I have made my choice," she said. An old counselor shouted, "This is madness. It's a crime. No royal has ever." "Then let me be the first," Ysera said. Guards moved forward. Some tried to speak. Others tried to stop her. But she raised her hand. "Touch him, and I burn your name from the books of time." They froze. Raylan finally found his voice. "Why? Why tell them?" She smiled gently. "Because I am not ashamed." Then she looked at him, and her voice softened. "And because our child deserves to be born under truth, not silence." He took her hand. He didn't care about rules or crowns or empires. He cared about her. And now, something more. Their child. Royal blood, human heart. The council chamber burned with silence. After Queen Ysera's words, no one moved. No one breathed. Then, like a storm breaking, the shouting began. "This cannot be allowed. It is against the sacred law. A human? This is an insult to the throne. The nobles surrounded the queen like wolves around fire. Old faces filled with pride and fear spoke over each other, demanding punishment, exile, even removal. Raylan stood beside Ysera, heart pounding. He wasn't a king. He wasn't trained for this. He was a soldier, a peacekeeper. And now, somehow the center of an empire's storm. A tall noble named Varen stepped forward. His armor was dark gold, his face sharp like a blade. "Your Majesty," he said coldly, "you have broken the bloodline. You carry a child from an outsider." "I carry life," she replied. "You carry danger," Varen said. "If that child is born, everything we are will begin to fade. Or it will grow stronger," she answered. The room fell silent again. Raylan stepped forward, his voice strong but respectful. "I didn't plan this," he said, "but I won't walk away from it. I love her, and if this child is part of me, I will protect it." Varen's eyes narrowed. "Your protection means nothing. You are not one of us." Ysera stepped in front of Raylan. "Then make him one of us," she said. "Or make me one of him." Gasps filled the chamber. The oldest counselor, Lady Thevra, shook her head slowly. "You would give up your blood?" "I would give it freely," Ysera said, "for love, for truth." Thevra turned to the others. "We must vote," but Varan raised his hand. "No vote is needed. The child is not born yet. We can still fix this mistake." His words chilled the room. Raylan stepped forward. "What do you mean by fix?" "Take her away," Varen said. "Remove the problem before it grows." Ysera's eyes burned with fire. "Try it, and you will see why my name is written in the wind and carved into the stars." Varen smirked. "You forget, Your Majesty. Your army serves the council, not your heart." At that moment, the doors burst open. 2 royal guards entered, and they were not alone. Behind them stood 12 more, fully armored, their visors down, weapons ready. They didn't face the nobles. They faced the queen. "By order of the High Council," one guard said, "you are to be taken for protection until the child is..." "Understood." Raylan moved fast. He pulled Ysera behind him. "You'll have to go through me." The guards didn't move. They waited. And then, Ysera did, something no queen had done in 1,000 years. She reached into her robe and drew the flame dagger, the weapon of ancient queens. The blade glowed bright red, alive with her blood. Gasps echoed across the chamber. "If you raise a hand to me," she said, "I raise this." Even the guards stepped back. No one expected, and no one dared take the first step. "We leave now," Ysera said to Raylan. He nodded. They backed toward the far exit, not the main doors, but a hidden path known only to royalty. Varen shouted, "Stop them!" But no one moved. Not yet. The queen and the humans slipped through the secret passage, vanishing into the heart of the tower. Behind them, the council broke into chaos. They ran down old stone stairs, past forgotten paintings and cold torches. "How? Long before they chase us?" Raylan asked. "They already are," Ysera said. "Where do we go?" "To the wildlands," she answered. "There is someone who can help us, an old healer. If the child is to live, we must reach her." They reached the stables at the edge of the palace walls. 2 windrunners, fast, silent beasts, waited in the shadows. Raylan helped her mount. He saw her hand shake. "You're already feeling it, aren't you?" he asked. She nodded. Valerie, children grow fast. The bond pulls energy. It feeds on love and weakness. Then let's ride. And not stop until we're safe. They took off into the night, wind pushing through the trees, moonlight chasing their steps. Behind them, the palace burned with noise. Ahead of them, danger waited, but between them was something stronger than fear. Hunted by the high-bloods, the windrunners moved fast through the shadowed plains. Their hooves made no sound, Their silver skin shimmered with each leap across the grass. Above them, clouds drifted across the twin moons, painting everything in cold, blue light. Queen Ysera leaned forward, holding tightly to the creature's mane. Her breath came slow and shallow. Her strength was fading. Raylan rode beside her, eyes scanning the hills. "We need to stop," he said. "No," she replied. "Not yet till you're getting weaker. If we stop now, they will find us." He looked at her, really looked, and saw the truth in her eyes. Her body was glowing faintly beneath her robes. The bond between her and the child was growing faster than it should. It was feeding off her, drawing power from her life to build something new, and it was killing her. Raylan tightened his grip on the reins. "We'll find the healer, just hold on." They rode through the night, but they were not alone. Behind them, the High-Bloods had released their deadliest hunters. Elite Valerie warriors known as the Oathbound. They wore no armor. They carried no lights. They moved like mist. And they had one command: bring back the queen, kill the human, destroy the child. By morning, the hunters had picked up the trail. Raylan and Ysera reached the edge of the Ashwood forest. Tall trees stood like stone pillars, their branches hanging low, covered in black moss. Fog rolled across the ground. Nothing lived inside for long. "They won't follow us in here," Ysera whispered. "Why not?" Raylan asked. "Because even they fear what sleeps beneath these trees." They entered the Ashwood, and the forest closed behind them. For hours, they moved through the twisting paths, watching shapes shift in the mist. Whispers echoed around them, sounds of things unseen. Once Raylan thought he saw eyes watching them from inside the bark. He kept his weapon ready. Sarah leaned on him more with each step. They left the windrunners behind. The animals would not go farther. They sensed the old power hiding in the wood. Finally, they reached a small clearing where stone markers stood in a circle. "This is it," Ysera said weakly. "The place of the healer." A soft light appeared between the stones. A woman stepped out of the mist. She was old, not just in age but in presence. Her body looked like it was carved from roots. Her eyes glowed with deep green fire. "You bring her," the healer said. "The one who carries the broken future." "Please," Raylan said. "She's dying. The child is draining her." The healer stepped closer and placed her hand over Ysera's heart. "No. The child is not draining her. It is calling her to awaken." "What do you mean?" "Your bond was not meant to stay hidden. It grows wild because it has no name. No blessing. No root." The healer looked at Raylan. "You love her?" "More than anything," he said. "And would you give everything for her?" Without a second thought, the healer nodded. "Then there is hope." But before she could begin her work, the wind shifted. The Oathbound had arrived. They stepped from the fog. 6 of them, cloaked in silence, eyes glowing gold, blades in hand. The healer turned. "You are not welcome here." The lead hunter spoke coldly. "Stand aside, Root Witch. The child is cursed. The queen is broken. And the human will not leave this forest alive." Raylan stepped in front of Ysera. "You'll have to go through me." "As you wish," the hunter said. They charged. The healer raised her staff. Vines burst from the earth, wrapping around 2 of the Oathbound, pulling them into the ground. Raylan fought with his pulse blade, blocking and dodging, his body moving on instinct. But the Oathbound were trained killers. One cut his arm, another knocked him to the ground. Ysera screamed. Her body exploded with blue light. The hunters froze. Her eyes were wide open, glowing with power. The child inside her had awakened. From the trees, roots broke free and struck the ground. Light poured from her skin, covering Raylan and the healer. The Oathbound stepped back. "She's not just a queen," the healer said. "She's becoming the Flameborn." "What is that?" Raylan asked. "A being of both worlds," the healer said. "Human heart, Valerie blood, the one who can rewrite the bond." The hunters retreated into the fog. They would return. With more, with worse, But for now, they had survived. Raylan held Ysera as her power faded. She looked at him and smiled. "Our child is speaking," she whispered. "They want to live." He kissed her forehead. "Then so do we." The healer's secret and the unborn flame after. The oathbound retreated into the mist. Silence returned to the ashwood. Queen Ysera lay in Raylan's arms, her breath steady but shallow. Her body no longer glowed. The light inside her had dimmed, but it was not gone. The healer moved slowly, placing stones around them in a wide circle. Each one pulsed with soft green light. "What are you doing?" Raylan asked. "Binding the space," she said, "so the forest won't listen. Not while I speak." Raylan held Ysera closer. "Is she safe now?" The healer shook her head. "For now, but not for long. The child inside her is not normal. It is not just a mix of blood. It is something new." "What do you mean?" The healer knelt beside them and placed her hand over Ysera's stomach. Her fingers trembled. "This child is the first of its kind. It carries the soul of two worlds, the strength of the Valari, the heart of a human. The old power has chosen to live inside it." "Old power?" "The Flameborn," she said, "an ancient force that once lived in the stars. Long ago it fell silent. But now, through love, through your bond, it has returned." Raylan looked down at Ysera. He could feel it now, something deep inside her, something pulsing with heat and hope. "Will it survive?" he asked. "Yes," the healer said, "but the council will never allow it to live free. They will come again. Not with hunters, but with armies." Raylan stood slowly. "Then we'll run. We'll go farther." The healer shook her head. "You cannot run from a shadow that follows your soul." He stared at her. "Then what do we do?" The healer reached into her robe and pulled out a small crystal, shaped like a star, glowing red and blue at once. "You have two paths," she said. "Hide the child. Seal the bond. Erase all trace of this power. Live in peace, but in hiding forever," Raylan swallowed. "And the other path? Rise," she said. "Stand before the galaxy. Reveal the child. Protect it with fire. Force the Empire to choose between the past and the future." Raylan was quiet. "And what happens if we rise?" "War," she said simply. "But also, change." He looked at Ysera. She was listening now. Her voice was weak but clear. "I will not hide my child." The healer looked at her. "Then the time has come. The child must be named." "Named?" Raylan asked. "Once named, the bond becomes real. The child becomes part of the world. Its path is written." Ysera reached for Raylan's hand. "We name her together," she whispered. "Not by royal blood, not by human rules, but by love." Raylan nodded. They both placed their hands over her stomach. The light returned, a warm, steady glow that rose between them. They spoke one name, softly, and the forest heard. The stars seemed to pause. The healer smiled. "The child is Flameborn now. Nothing can erase her, not even death." Suddenly the stones around them flashed red. "Danger, movement in the forest. They found us again," the healer said. "How?" Raylan asked. "Someone betrayed you," she said. Sarah looked at Raylan. "There is no more running." "Then we fight," he said. The healer stood. "You must go to the Crystal Cliffs," she said. "The old ones will protect you there. But you must move fast." "And you?" Ysera asked. "I will stay and delay them." Raylan hesitated. "You'll die." The healer smiled softly. "No, I will return to the roots. I was never meant to live beyond this day." Ysera took her hand. "Thank you." The healer nodded. "Go. Protect the flame." Raylan helped Ysera to her feet. Her strength was returning, not fully but enough. They ran into the fog. Behind them, the forest cracked with the sound of marching feet. But ahead, the cliffs waited, and so did the next war. The Queen's last stand, The cliffs rose like silver towers above the clouds. Raylan helped Queen Ysera climb the last steep path. Her steps were slow, her body heavy, but her eyes burned with quiet fire. The child inside her had stopped glowing. But they both felt it, a calm strength growing with every step. The cliffs of crystal were sacred. No army had stepped here in 500 years, not because of rules, but because of fear. It was said that those who came with lies were swallowed by the cliffs. Only truth could pass. As they reached the top, a soft wind moved around them. Rays of light passed through the crystal walls, casting colors on the ground. They were not alone. 3 old figures stood at the edge of the cliff, wrapped in white robes, their eyes blind but glowing. These were the keepers of the flame, protectors of the ancient path. One of them stepped forward. "You carry the unborn flame," she said to Ysera. "Yes," Ysera replied. "Do you seek protection?" "No. I seek the right to choose." The keeper looked at Raylan. "And you, human, what do you seek?" "I seek to protect the ones I love, no matter the cost." The keeper nodded. "Then prepare, because the cost is coming." Behind them, horns echoed through the wind. They turned. Across the plains, the royal army marched, hundreds of soldiers in golden armor. Ships landed near the base of the cliff. Varen led the charge, eyes locked on the peak. He had come not to speak, but to end. "Stay behind the stones," Raylan said to Ysera, "no matter what happens." "You cannot face them all," she whispered. "I don't have to," he said. "I just have to stand long enough." He reached into the satchel and pulled out the flame dagger, the queen's blade. He had never held it before. It burned in his hand, but it did not hurt. It welcomed him. The keeper watched and said quietly, "You have been chosen by fire." Raylan stepped to the edge of the cliff. Below, the army stopped. Varen raised his voice. "Give us the child. Give us the queen, and we will let you live." Raylan raised the blade. "Then you'd better bring more soldiers." Varen gave the signal. The first wave charged. Raylan braced himself. He had no shield, no backup, but he had something more. A reason. As the first line reached the edge, the blade came alive. It burned with red and gold, striking like lightning. Raylan moved with speed he didn't know he had. His training, his pain, his love, it all poured into every motion. He struck one soldier down, then another. But they kept coming. His arm bled. His legs weakened. Still, he stood. Above, Ysera clutched her stomach, whispering to the child. "Not yet. Hold on." She stepped forward despite the pain. Her voice rose. "This is our stand," the child responded. A wave of blue light burst from her. It wrapped around Raylan like armor. The army stopped. The air froze. And from the sky, a flame appeared. Not fire. A being, glowing, floating above them, eyes like stars. It was the spirit of the first flame-born queen. Her voice shook the ground. "You fear what you do not understand. But this child is not your end. It is your beginning." The army fell to their knees. Even Varen dropped his weapon. The light faded. The vision was gone, but its power remained. Raylan fell to his knees, the blade still in hand. Ysera rushed to him, weak but alive. "We're not done," she whispered. He smiled through the blood. "No, we're just getting started." The bond that changed the empire, the wind grew still over the crystal cliffs. The royal army knelt in silence. No one dared speak after the flame-born spirit appeared. Even Varen, the one who shouted loudest, now stood quiet, eyes lowered. Queen Ysera leaned against Raylan. Her body trembled. The fight, the power, the child. It had taken too much. Raylan saw it in her face. She was slipping. He held her tighter. "Stay with me," he whispered. Her lips moved. "I feel cold." The flame inside her flickered. The bond between her and the unborn child was strong, but without full unity, it was tearing her apart. The keepers of the flame stepped forward. Their robes floated slightly, moved by unseen energy. "The child has been accepted," the eldest said. "But the queen's life fades." Raylan stood. "Tell me what to do." The keeper looked at him. "The flame needs balance. Human and Valeri. 2 hearts. 1 light." "We already bonded," Raylan said. "You touched the edge," the keeper replied. "Now you must step into the fire completely. What happens if I do? You become part of her, part of the child. Forever." Raylan looked at Ysera. She looked back, weak, but aware. "Do you choose this path?" she asked. He didn't hesitate. "I chose it the moment I saw you." The keeper placed her hands over both their hearts. "Then speak the vow." Raylan closed his eyes. "My soul to yours, my breath to yours, my life to ours," Ysera whispered back. "My crown to you, my name to you, my fire to ours." The wind rose. Light burst from the ground, surrounding them, red and blue, gold and silver. The sky responded. The clouds parted. The stars above flickered like they were watching. The bond sealed. Their hearts became one flame, and the child inside, Ysera, pulsed strong, alive, safe. The keeper stepped back. "It is done," they said. "You are no longer two. You are a flame together." Ysera stood taller now, her eyes brighter, her voice calm but filled with power. "We are not running anymore," she said. Raylan stood beside her. "We're coming home." Back at the base of the cliffs, the army waited. When Ysera and Raylan appeared hand in hand, glowing with the light of the soul bond, no one raised a weapon. Varen stepped forward. "What are you?" he asked. Ysera answered, not with anger, but with truth. "I am your queen. I am a mother. And I am flameborn. And him? He is not a human to fear. He is the bond that saved us." Varen slowly knelt. "What now?" Ysera looked at the soldiers. "You return to your cities, your books, your codes. But remember this day, because the law has changed, the bloodline has changed, and the fire has returned." The soldiers lowered their heads. No one refused. No one dared, because deep inside, even the most loyal ones felt something awaken. A child born under twin moonsweeks passed since the soul bond was sealed. Peace spread across the outer worlds. For the first time in history, the Council of High Bloods sat in silence, not because they were defeated, but because they had seen something they could not deny. A queen who stood alone against them. A human who fought not with hate, but with heart. And a child not yet born, who already carried the flame of a new future. The empire did not fall, but it began to change. In the high garden temple above the clouds, Queen Ysera lay on soft crystal blankets. Her body was still weak, but her heart was strong. The energy inside her no longer burned wildly. It flowed calmly now, guided by love. Raylan knelt beside her, holding her hand. "You're ready?" he asked. She nodded, smiling. "We both are." The moons above shined full and bright, casting silver light across the room. The old flame keepers stood around them, their hands glowing, their voices soft in ancient song. As the last note fell into silence, a cry filled the air. Clear, strong, alive. Daughter was born, wrapped in a light of blue and gold, her skin marked with soft patterns like stars, her eyes deep like the sea of night. Ysera held her close. "You are the beginning," she whispered. Raylan sat beside her, tears in his eyes. "What do we call her?" he asked. Ysera looked at him. "What name would you give the first child of both worlds?" He smiled. "Solara," he said. "The light between stars." Ysera nodded. "Then Solara you are." News of her birth spread fast, faster than war ever could in the outer stations. People whispered, "The queen chose a human." On the border worlds, rebels said, "A child has been born who will unite us all." On Earth, scientists watched the sky as energy readings changed. Soft signals reaching from Valeri space to human colonies. They called it the flame effect. No one fully understood it, but all knew. Something had shifted. In the palace garden, Raylan stood under the twin moons holding his daughter. Ysera walked beside him, the wind moving through her hair. "Do you think they'll accept her?" he asked. "They already have," she said. "How can you be sure?" She pointed to the sky. Where once only stars had shined, now two soft lights moved together. One red, one blue, circling slowly. Because even the stars have made room. Years. Later stories would be told of Solara, the flame-born child of two souls. Some would say she could walk between dreams. Some would say her laughter could calm storms. But before all the legends, before the power, she was just a baby in her mother's arms and a father's hope held in his heart. Under twin moons, where everything began.